Remember, I gave you some of the balances. There's nothing I can do about this. That doesn't really help me. Right, then we have to read the information. The first lot of the information tells you cash purchases of raw materials. This will obviously then be, this is now for the month of July, so I'm going to have this on the 31st. Cash purchases will obviously be bank. And the amount that we've purchased was 30,000. Are you okay with that entry? Credit purchases will be creditors control, so I'm just going to write creditors control. And the amount for that was 35,000. Then they tell you carriage paid on raw materials purchase, I'm going to have bank, and in brackets I'm going to write their carriage. And that is 5,000 rand. Are you okay with that? Then wages paid, 35,000, and that will go to my wages account. 2017, July the 31st. If I pay wages, it's bank. And the amount that we've paid was 35,000. Are you fine with that? Then salaries paid. I didn't ask you to do salaries, so you're not going to record that. But don't forget that there is salaries, remember? Unless we want to, wait, you want me to put this a wages and salaries account. Do that just to make, so that you can see. And then again, bank. You can make this a wages and salaries account. And that was 15,000. Then I give you electricity paid, 6,000. We do not know how much of that electricity is for the factory, so we cannot write that in factory overheads yet. Are you fine with that, people? Then the next one, factory rent paid will obviously be factory overhead. So I just want to find my factory overheads there. I know that it's factory rent, so I'm going to write in here factory rent, or you can write rent expense, doesn't matter. Why can I write this inside a factory overhead? Because that is for the factory already. We do not need to calculate which part of that rent is for factory. They tell you it's the factory rent. Are you fine with that, grade 11s? The next entry, maintenance of machinery. Maintenance of machinery, obviously the factory machinery, so I'm going to write in the factory overheads maintenance of machinery, or just maintenance. Just whatever makes you happy. Maintenance. And that amount 2,000. Then they tell me sales. 200,000. I didn't ask you to do the sales account, so that's just information. Cash purchases of indirect material. That is important because indirect material we already know will go inside factory overheads. Do you understand that? So I'm going to write here indirect materials and not write the amount in the amount column yet, because the fact that I bought 5,000 rands worth of indirect materials does not mean that I've used all 5,000 rand. Do you understand that? Are you fine? Right. Additional information. Raw materials of 45,000 was issued towards manufacturing. So go back to raw materials. They already tell me that we did not use all of the raw material that we bought. We only issued 45,000, and where must this go to? To raw materials issued. Please do not write there, this goes to work in progress or work in process. You know that's not the route it follows. Must go to raw materials issued, and that was 45,000. Okay with that? Are you fine? I now know that this will go to the factory, so I go to work in progress, but I cannot write, why do I have an R there, not a Y? I don't know why. This is on the 31st. What was my direct material cost? already know what it is, and that was 45,000. If you write in this account raw materials or raw material issued or anything else, you're not going to get the mark for the wording. The marks look like this. 1 mark for the balance, 1 mark for the word direct material cost, 1 mark for the amount. So if you have raw material stock there or raw materials issued, you won't get the mark for the contract because your account is wrong. Are you fine with this, people? It's not difficult, this book, is it? You just need to know the steps. Then, indirect material used in the production. Now, look here. Tatala, the whole 5,000 rand that we bought, all of that was used. So I can actually put the 5,000 there. But tell me, it has been used the whole 5,000. Now, in a test or in an exam, listen here. You will always here start with a balance. I will tell you, there was raw indirect materials of, I'm going to just do this, of 2,000 rand. Then I will tell you what you bought, the 5,000, and what is more. I will tell you what the balance at the end is. So at the end, there is maybe 1,500 rand left of the raw materials. How do you get your amount then? It's what you had plus what you bought minus what is left. Will tell you what you've used inside the factory. Let me just make that 2,000 so the amounts work out. Do you understand this? And this calculation, honestly, grade 11s you're going to get in grade 12 as well. Because in grade 12, you must do the note for factory overheads. It means just make a list of the factory overheads, not the account. Are you fine with this? Is there anybody who has a problem? Right, the next one. Workers who were directly involved in the production of furniture received 80% of the wages for the month. The wages we know, I'm going to write here in brackets wages so that we can see what is wages and what is salaries. They tell us that 80% of the wages we paid are for people who work directly inside the factory making the product. We know that must now be taken out. It must be taken to direct labor. And what is my calculation? I'm going to show a calculation here. It's 80% of the 35,000. Do you get, yes? Direct wages, yeah, thank you. And then from there to direct labor costs, thanks. Direct wages. Do you also get 29,750? Is that the amount? 29,750. Do you also get that amount? Are you fine with that? Is 80% of 35,000? Just check my calculation, please. It's 28,000. 35,000 times 80%. Where did I get that amount from? Do you know? Because I don't have the faintest idea. Are you okay with that, people? Are you fine? I already know this is my direct labor cost, so I'm going to write that inside here. I have direct labor cost. Labor cost. And the amount was 28,000. Are you fine with this, people? Are you fine? Is there anybody who has a problem? The next sentence, the factory supervisor received a salary of 7,000 rand. So I know that 7,000 of the salaries will go to factory overheads. Inside factory overheads, I'm going to have either indirect labor or you can write salaries. Are you okay with that? Are you fine? I tell you the rest was paid for the sales representative, By the way, next year you will learn, but I'm going to actually teach you this year. Whatever was go to sales representative will go to selling and distribution. Okay? Yeah. Selling and distribution, 8,000. All right, but this is not important now, distribution. It's not, because we're not going to do the selling and distribution account this year, so that you know. And if there was anything else, let's say there was the salary of the secretary or of the admin per staff, then it would go to administrative costs. Do you understand this, people? Right, the next one, 95% of the electricity costs are allocated to manufacturing. So we need to know that there was electricity here. And they actually told us the amount for electricity. That was 6,000. Of that, 95,000 must go to the factory. So 6,000 times 95% gives me 5,700. Where is the 700 now there? Let me just do this properly. Okay with that? Then the next thing they tell you, all the work started during the month was completed, and they told you what was the value of the finished goods. Before we can do anything, we now have to take all the factory costs to the work in progress account. So I need to total this account on this side. I'm going to make that smaller, right? And I'm going to total on this side. I need to add up. Very seldom they will tell you that a certain percentage of factory overheads is allocated. It's normally all the factory overheads. You also get 27,700, is that right? Did I add properly? I check. You know you can't leave me. Yeah? You don't write in the salary yet. Sorry. No, the supervisor. Where's the salary of the supervisor? That was the 7,000. And the wages were? What about the wages? The wages of the... Oh, I didn't write in the clean staff. Thank you. Sorry. 7,000, thank you. I didn't read that part. The rest of the wages, so wages must be 7, and the rest of this must be factory over, it must be 14,000. Is that right? Okay. Thank you. How did I get that? Must be 7,000. That was the supervisor. The 7,000, the rest are working inside the factory, not directly involved. Okay, thank you. I didn't see that. So this will be 34,000, is that right? You can see if it's 34,700. No, my adding skills is not always very good, so please check there. Right? Okay. This must be taken to your work in progress or work in process account on the 31st. Or work in progress, whichever one you prefer. 1,700. Are you okay with this? Are you fine? Inside my work in progress or work in process, my factory overheads is 34,700. Are you fine with this? Are you okay? What is my next step? I now need to see, just went to the wrong page. I now need to see, normally listen to me, in this exercise it's not like this. Normally you will have, at the end of the month, the goods that you've finished, which is your finished goods. And you should have a balance and this is your unfinished goods. Just type rightly. Now they have told you that in this exercise, all the work started during this month was completed, which means that there is no balance. There's no balance of unfinished goods. You know that that is not the correct way for a factory, but this was now a completely new business, so that's a learning. You add up. They will not have a balance brought down as well. This is carried down. Let me just add quickly. So we started with 7,000 plus the 45,000 plus the 28,000 plus 34,700. 114,700. Opposite side, 114. Is my adding correct, please? Okay. What is the finished goods? The goods that we can take out of the factory into the shop. 114,700. In my finished goods account, we started with a balance. On the 31st, we are adding the work that we've done. Work in progress. That was 114,700. Then they tell us finished goods. Now, this is my finished goods account. This account, we just draw the lines quickly, and then I'll show you. You know that hopefully some of your finished goods will be sold. So, end of the month, those that you've sold will go to cost of sales. And those that is unsold will be a balance. This is your unsold. That tell you that finished goods to the value of 7,700 were unsold, so we have the balance in the finished goods account. They actually tell you that. Can you now get cost of sales? Yes. All you need to do is you need to add and subtract. 12 and 114 gives you 126,700. The same on the opposite side, 126,700. So what is your cost of sales? I'm going to show you the calculation. It is as follows. I'm taking my total, the 126,700 minus the 7,700. Do you also get 119,000? Beginning of the next month, after July, it's August. On the and brought down, so we have in our shop 7,700 rands worth of stock to sell. Are you fine with that? Cost of sales account, I often do that. Whatever you sold during the month on the 31st, you write finished goods. That was 119,700. And at the end of this month, because it's not the end of the year yet, you will just add and then you will write in the new entry again. At the end of the financial year, you will close off cost of sales like you always have done to trading account. What remains, we still have to balance your raw material stock account. So let's balance that completely, because remember, you must have raw material stock beginning of next month. Otherwise, part of your factory is going to sit without any work to be that they could do. Right. How do I do this? I'm going to add. On the 31st, balance carry down. Beginning of next month, which is August, on the 31st, balance brought down, and that is 30,000. Work in process has no balance because there was nothing, which is very silly in this factory because it means tomorrow morning half of my factory staff is going to do nothing because the product is not up in the production line where they are working. Are you fine with this? Is this difficult work for you people? It's difficult. Right, I'm going to give you an exercise that's a little bit more difficult. This was now a straightforward one. Activity 10 point 10.14. 10.14. You only need, forget about what they ask you to do. You only need to do the following accounts. Can you please write this down? If you have a look on page 376, it's not your break, now it's the grade 8 now. After this you have break. It's now the grade 8s. Some of them really got very tall during the lockdown. Some of them, because they were quite small when they left, but some of the boys, especially the boys, got very tall during the lockdown. On page 376, what are the accounts I want you to do? At the top of the account, they give you stock at the beginning of the financial year. Raw material, work in progress, finished goods and consumable stores. Can you see that? Those accounts plus the following two, which won't have balances. Plus the following three, the following three, I want you to have factory overheads you must do, obviously, because you need that. I want you to do labor, wages and salaries, do wages and salaries, and do cost of sales. So it's those four plus factory overheads, wages and salaries, and then cost of sales. Basically the same as what you've done for today. The only difference is that they now have a consumable stores account, which is your indirect material. Can you see that? Is there anybody has a problem? Homework for Wednesday. This is a little bit more difficult because there's a little bit more information you need to read. Can I switch off my screen? Are you okay with this?